This is what the plan here is. We're going to do a race recap of Santa Cruz 70.3. Let's dig in. I'll just try to kind of set it up, lay it out, chat about the run and the ride and the swim, because it's a triathlon after all. Why Santa Cruz? A few years ago, I did the Penticton Grand Fondo with the Lululemon squad. After the race, myself and a couple buds we're grabbing a drink. We had a couple beers, and we were just chatting. The inevitable conversation is, what's next? And from there, there's one guy who's just really into triathlon. He's really into triathlon. He's like, we got to do a triathlon. We got to do a triathlon. Me and my other bud, who we're not really triathletes, we're like, you know what? It's inevitable. Let's explore triathlon. And thus was the beginning of the Lululemon Triathlon Club. Our first 70.3 was Indian Wells. And then we did one in Richland, Washington. And Santa Cruz was our third one. But this gentleman who planted the seed for triathlon loves the Santa Cruz triathlon. He loves the Santa Cruz 70.3. Like, it's his favorite race. So whenever we do these other ones, he's always like, oh, just wait until you do Santa Cruz. Oh, you would love Santa Cruz. Oh, Santa Cruz is it. So finally we're like, all right, man, let's go do Santa Cruz then. You're so in love with Santa Cruz. Let's go do Santa Cruz. So we did. September, whatever, 8th or something, 2025. And there we are on the start line of Santa Cruz Triathlon. That was a busy week. It was a busy week for myself. So let's talk about race week. Monday, I did the Vancouver Sprint Triathlon, which is a phenomenal race. So much fun. And I think a sprint triathlon is the perfect kind of race week blowout, or like 10 days out blowout. Just blow it out and do a sprint triathlon. They're over before you know it, but you get a nice little swim hit, you get a nice little bike hit, you get a nice run, and you also get to practice your transitions. I mean, if it works up in your schedule, that's the way to do it. I did this sprint triathlon and I won the dang thing, and it gave me a lot of confidence, but also I picked up a few helpful tricks and some tricks that actually would come back and bite me in the butt. But the most helpful one is that this was the first time in a triathlon. I've done 6, so this would have been my 5th triathlon, that I got off the bike and I had running in my legs. I have never had running in my legs before, and what a profound difference it has for the overall race experience if you have running in your legs. So I took that with me to Santa Cruz, and one of the big things was like, okay, let's try to get off the bike with running in your leg. And in my first 70.3, which was Indian Wells, I had a strong bike, passed a ton of people on the bike, but I overbiked. Like 80 kilometers in that 90K bike, I was like, oh no, I've kind of overcooked this. The run was a disaster.
Rob, nice work.
So hard.
You're doing it, buddy.
In Richland, which was my second 70.3, I biked hard. I was on a road bike, and I was just having so much fun passing all the triathlon bike people that I kind of overcooked that bike too. I did 90K that day, and I averaged like 312 watts, which is pretty high for me in terms of like my overall percentage of FTP. So I came off that bike a little cooked as well, and never really felt great on the run. This one, I was like, you know what? I want to have a strong run. On paper, I should be a strong runner in the triathlon, but I never have been. So that was one thing I took away from the sprint. The other thing I took away from the sprint is that I didn't put socks on for any of it. I didn't put socks on, obviously for the swim, you're not gonna wear socks. I didn't wear socks for the bike or the run, and I thought, since it worked in the sprint, what's the difference in the 70.3? Spoiler alert, big difference. It makes a big difference. So race week, Monday morning, bright and early, do the sprint triathlon, win it, great, full of confidence. Then on Tuesday, I had to go to Montreal. So I had to wake up super early and fly to Montreal, because as a Lululemon ambassador, every so often you're on set and you have to do, I was modeling, you know. So we had a campaign that we were shooting, and we were shooting in Montreal. So I had to fly to Montreal. That was Tuesday, get into Montreal, went for a nice jog while I was there, which was lovely. And then on Wednesday, another early day as I wake up we're on set all day. And those are long days, and they're pretty tiresome because there's a lot of running involved and just a lot of energy output. So that was another long day. I managed to, did I get a run in that? Yeah, I think I got a little run in that night as well. And then Thursday, I had to wake up early and fly to San Francisco. So it was a bunch of really early days in a row. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday I was waking up before 6 a.m. all those days. So it's less than ideal on race week, but you know, I'm not a pro. You do what you do. I mean, people have kids, people have stuff. This was my stuff that I had to manage. So I flew from Montreal to San Francisco. Lululemon got me a car, took me from San Francisco to Santa Cruz. So I got to the venue on Thursday afternoon, which was great. It gave me enough time to set up my bike and get out for a ride on course, which was super important for me because I'm trying to take triathlon more seriously. And as part of that is I got to utilize this triathlon bike that I have. It's a nice bike. It goes super fast. I just don't like riding it. It's so uncomfortable. My road bike is so fun to whip around and have. The tri bike is, I get it. It's a tool. It's a machine, but it goes fast. So I was like, all right, well, I should probably use this bike because I can actually I'm leaving time on course when I'm not using my TT bike. So I put it in the bike bag, took it with me, rode it once or twice outside in Vancouver, and then I got there on Thursday to Santa Cruz, took it out, and it didn't fill me with a lot of confidence because these things are twitchy, they're hard to control, and it was really windy, so I was getting blown all over the place, and I felt like I was carrying so much tension during the bike ride that it didn't fill me with confidence. So the next day I went out and I felt a little bit more comfortable. And then the next day I went out and I felt a little bit more comfortable. So I got 3 rides in Santa Cruz on my TT bike. And by then I was like, you know what? I think I can handle this thing enough to utilize its speed. On Friday, the Lululemon squad came in, as did Shannon, my partner, my girlfriend, my amazing support. It's so great having her there. She decided kind of last minute to come. She's like, wait a second. You're going to be there. You already have a hotel room. Like, why wouldn't I just come down for the weekend? She had points on her credit card, so she booked a flight and jumped in one of the Ubers with the Lulu squad and came to Santa Cruz, which was amazing. It elevated my experience, and I think it really helped my performance as well. When Shannon got there, we went for a little jog, and we had a nice dinner, and it was great. And then the next day, woke up nice and early, did an ocean swim just to check out how the water was in Santa Cruz. The Santa Cruz triathlon is really cool, and the big thing that what my buddy Calvin likes is he likes the course, and it makes so much sense because you swim around the pier, and the pier is phenomenal. It's you just go out, across, and back. The swim is pretty chill. The water temperature was perfect. The conditions in the water were quite good, quite still. But the one thing about the water is that you're going around this pier. And on the pier, there are just hundreds and hundreds of sea lions. Right? And I'm not a strong swimmer. I'm not the most competent swimmer. I'm not super comfortable in the water. So having these giant animals in there yelling at you and just kind of checking us out, right? Because we're in their space. We're in their home. So obviously they're gonna be like, what are all these people doing here? Is it that time of year again? So they were checking us out. So it's a little bit spooky there. And also, I don't know if you're like me. I think there's an entire generation of people like me who we watched the movie Jaws as like 7-year-olds, 8-year-olds. We had older brothers who showed us. My friend Eric Spence is one who showed me Jaws when we were like 8 years old. And ever since watching Jaws, every single time you get in water, you're afraid of getting eaten by a shark. You get in a swimming pool, you're afraid of getting, you know, you get in a swimming pool at night and it's kind of creepy. You're afraid a shark's going to get you. So when you're actually in open water swimming in the ocean with shark food around you, you might be the shark food. It's scary, man. It's so scary. In Vancouver, I get spooked out by orcas because orcas are really scary, but I'll be swimming. I love open water swimming until I get these thoughts of like, I hope I don't get eaten by a shark. So that was an element in Santa Cruz that was a little unsettling. So that day we did a swim and then we went for another bike ride. I got my last bike ride. And then package pickup, took our bikes to transition and kind of said, all right, we'll see you in the morning. Fortunately, our hotel was super close to the race venue. It was like 200 meters from the transition, which would prove to be a game saver for me later on. Talk about that. And also it was like the 400 meters from the swim start. So it was such an ideal location. So yeah, we went in for a little team dinner and then it was race day. Let's talk about race day. We woke up bright and early and we're doing this with the Lululemon squad. So there's a bunch of us down there doing it together, which is so much fun. And here's something about me that if you know me, you know this. And it's something I hate about myself, but I just, for whatever reason, I haven't fixed it. And I know I do it. I'm always late. I am always late. So they say, let's meet in the hotel lobby at 5:30 in the morning. We got to go set up our transitions. We got to take our bike shoes. We got to take our gels. We got to take everything to our transit. They know I'm going to be late. And then lo and behold, 5:30, I'm waiting for the elevator. I'm like, gosh, I'm late. Show up at 5:32. They're like, of course. But as I got down to the lobby to meet the team to go set up, I realized I forgot my bike helmet. And I was like, I can't admit to leaving my bike helmet upstairs and making them wait because they are giving me a tough time. So I just pretend everything was okay. So I went and set up my bike and everything was fine. I was like, yeah. It's like, and then we walked back to the hotel. It was only like 200 meters, right? So they're like, all right, well, breakfast and we'll see y'all back and we'll walk to the start of the race in about an hour. And I was like, yeah, cool. I run up to my room. I grab my helmet. I sneak out the back door because they're kind of like hanging out in the lobby. I didn't want them to see me. And I sneak out the back door of the hotel and I run over to the transition and I put my helmet there. I'm like, okay, now we're good. I go back to the room. Shannon's made me breakfast. She's made me a bagel. She's made me coffee. She's my high performance coordinator. That's kind of what we do when we support each other at races. The one not racing is responsible for giving the person racing everything they need on race day. It's pretty nice. So we walk over to the start line as a team. Just a stunning morning. Absolutely stunning morning. We walked there and the sun was rising over the ocean. And the swim venue was so nice. The way these 70.3 swims start is that you seed yourself, right? It's not like a mass 3,000 people in the water. Like people would die. You go every 5 seconds they put 3 people in, 3 people in, 3 people in. It's still very chaotic, but it's more controlled in that way. So I seeded myself at about 35 to 37 minutes. If I can swim about a 36-minute 1.9K, that's good for me where I'm at in my swimming right now. And so that was it. I lined up with Ben. I lined up with Steph, and we kind of just gave her hell from there. The race started. You jump in the water. You just start swimming. I've done enough of these now to know the swim is just chaos, and you just get through it. That's always my mentality in the swim. Is like, just get through this damn thing, and then I can have a little bit of fun, right? And to me, one of the best feelings in triathlon is when I'm swimming and I can see the shore is getting closer. The shore is getting closer, and then you can finally touch the bottom. Oh, what a feeling, because that means the swim is over and you can go have some fun. So I finally touch the bottom. I'm running out of the water and I look at my watch. I'm like, 35. I saw 35. That's a damn good swim for me. That is a damn good swim for me. I have no sense of pace while I'm swimming because it's so chaotic and whatever. So it could have been 40 minutes. Who knows? Like when I did the T100, I came out and it was 40 minutes. I was like, oh, that was pretty brutal. So this one was good. This was good. I was pretty stoked on that. And I ran up on the beach and I heard Shannon. She was cheering.
Hey, sweetheart. Good job, Robbie. Love you. That went well. Thank you.
It was great. Check. Swim. Success. And then it was the transition. The transition was so far. I mean, it makes sense. You can only put like 3,000 bikes. You can't just put them on the beach, right? So we had to run about 750 meters from the beach to where the transition zone was. C'est la vie. We got there. We get in transition. And just a quick note. So my swim, 35:51 officially, 68th place in my category, which is men 40 to 44, 568th place out of all men in the race, and 761st place out of everyone in the race. So like, I'm in the top third. I have work to do if I want to be competitive, and I'm a competitive person, right? So we get a transition, and I make my first mistake of the day is that I have a pair of aero socks. If I'm feeling good and I want to take time to put aero socks, I put those on. And then I just have a pair of normal socks, which will go on very quickly. I hadn't worn socks in the sprint try, and it was fine. So I look at them, I'm like, you know what? I don't need socks. I'm fine. I got sandy, wet, cold feet. I just wipe them off with a towel, throw on my shoes. Shout out to these, by the way. These S-Work Aries. I got these from En Route here in Vancouver. That's an amazing shoe. It is so comfortable. It's the best cycling shoe I've ever used. So shout out to En Route. So I'm fortunate to have those shoes. But if you're not wearing socks and you got sandy feet, the shoe can only do so much. I should have worn socks. This is a stunning bike course, an absolute stunning bike course. It goes just up and down the coast on Highway 1. And it's like, it's rolling, but you get these views. And it's nice for me because it's just a straight shot. And like I said before, I'm not the most adept handler with a TT bike. So just give me a straight line and let me go. And I think I'll be okay. So I had 2 parameters that I wanted to follow on the bike. And I spoke about this I didn't want to overbike. I wanted to leave something on my legs for my run. So it was this. It was either, my goal was 40K an hour. If I can average 400 kilometers an hour, that would be a good bike ride. That would put me in at about 215 overall time, strong, solid, put me in the mix. Or 280 watts. I didn't want to go over 280 watts because I felt, based on where my bike fitness was okay. It wasn't great. It wasn't as fit. I wasn't as fit as I was when I did Richland or probably even as when I did Indian Wells. But I was pretty decently fit, so I figured 280 watts was sustainable, and I would be able to run off that. So it's like if I were 40K an hour and under 280 watts, bonus, I can save a lot of lag. Or if I'm over 280 watts and I'm not going 40K an hour, it is what it is, because otherwise I'm going to blow up, and it doesn't matter how fast I biked, right? So fortunately enough, on this bike, which was nice and rolling, I think it was like 850 meters elevation overall, I ended up being 40.3 kilometers an hour, and average power was 276. So it was like kind of spot on right there. The normalized power was 293. So it was a strong bike ride, and I don't use heart rate, so I don't know what my heart rate was at, but I felt in complete control the entire time. I took in 100 grams of carbs an hour on the bike, which was good, which was my goal. I wanted to make sure the bike was a time to take in a lot of fuel, because I was not fueling a lot on the swim rather than the salt water that I was drinking. And on the run, yeah, you can fuel on the run obviously, but you want to fuel the meat of it during the bike, because that's also the meat of the race, right? And I passed so many people. I spent the entire bike ride just blowing through the field, passing people. I got off the bike. By the time I got off the bike, I biked 2:14:44. I was in third place, so I had gone from 68th place to third place in my age group. I had gone from 568th place male to 71st place male, and I had gone from 761st overall to 83rd overall. So I just did work on the bike. And these numbers are including pros. They include the pros as well. So it was solid. It was a solid bike. I made a lot of moves on the bike. And it's a fun way to ride, because you're just passing people the entire time. Mostly people bike on the right side. I'm just in the left side the whole time, just going woo, woo, woo. Ideally, I don't have to pass that many people, and I can improve my swim, so I'm not in that position. Because what you do also get is you get people, you get some traffic, you get some congestion. You just can't unload because you got to maneuver around people, and that happened a couple times. And something else I've noticed, which irks me in the moment because I'm competitive, is you're not supposed to draft in these races. And I understand when there's that many people on the road, there's going to be incidences when you draft. But there is a lot of intentional drafting happening out there. There are full-on pelotons, groups of riders working together. And that just irks me. And every time I pass them, I'll chirp them a bit. I'll be like, nice peloton there, guys, or something like that, because it irks me. And I want them to know I know what you're doing is wrong, and I'm still going to pass you, and I'm still going to beat you. Yeah, the bike was phenomenal. But as I mentioned before, my one issue is I knew my feet were already getting a little tore up in the bike, and I got off the bike, took off my bike shoe, and I did already see blood. I already saw red. And did I do anything about that? Did I decide to put on socks for the run? No. Because as I was in my transition zone, out of the corner of your eye, you see everyone else transitioning so fast and getting out there and starting to run. And I get anxiety, and I'm like, I got to get out there. I don't have time to put on socks. You kidding me? I don't have time to put on socks. It's going to destroy my race. So I didn't put on socks. I put on these, though. The Lululemon Split Shift, which is a shoe I love. It's not a plated shoe, but it's a fast shoe. You can see it's nice and light. It's got a lovely silhouette, which is just, it gets you going. It puts you on your forefoot. It rolls with you really, really well. I really enjoyed this shoe. I'm not a huge fan of super shoes. I don't like the way super shoes feel, to be honest. But I think for my next few races, I'm just going to have to get used to wearing super shoes, because they're pretty proven to help performance. And I need all the help I can get if I want to be competitive in this sport. But they're there, and I got to use them. Kind of like a time trial bike, right? I don't like riding that bike, but I have to if I want to be fast. So I better learn to love it. Those Lululemon Split Shifts, that's a quality shoe. So I put that on, sockless, and I just started running. And you know what? My goal of having running in my legs from being smarter on the bike, it worked. Got in the run. My first K was 3:56, which is quite good for me. Usually I'm using that first K to be like, oh my gosh, these legs are cooked, and I'm just trying to find some sort of rhythm, some sort of pace. I started running, and I all of a sudden felt good. And that was with that was a 10-meter elevation gain. There was a nice little kicker of a hill. So to get off in 3:56, and I went 3:50, 3:50, 3:51, 3:54. So my first 5K was strong. And I was like, I'm in for it. I'm going to have myself a good day. Then, you know what? This wasn't from over biking. This was just from being underprepared in the run. I was looking at my training, and heading into this race, I'd done 40 to 50K of running a week, which just isn't enough to drop a fast half marathon. It's just not. It's plain and simple. I need to be running a lot more. So I just started getting tired from lack of run fitness. Like, you know, I've been out there for over 3 hours. I'm running kind of hard. And so I just started getting tired. And so then I went 403, 408, 404, 408, 405, dropped a 4-minuter, which there. But then I'm like, halfway through the run, we go around this bluff and it's very sandy and windy, and I was just having a hard time maintaining pace. And also at this point, we're on sand. It's soft sand. I'm getting sand in my shoe. So I have a wet shoe from pouring water. It's getting sand in it. So I start feeling like, oh shit, I got like sandpaper in my shoe, right? So at about 11, 12K into the run, things started getting pretty tough. Right, I was physically starting to really feel tired, and my pace was starting to suffer due to fitness. So, you know, 12K 404, and then I dropped a 414 and a 418 while we were out there on that bluff, and it was okay. But at that point, I was like, all right, maybe I'm not gonna like set the world on fire, but let's finish this strong, because I knew I was gonna be competitive in my age group. I knew I was having a good enough day where, you know, if I can run around 4 in the low 420s, I'm going to have a good day. So I buckled down, went 404 for 15K, 404 for 16K, and then I did a 412, 403, 411, so forth and so on. Finished the run at 126.08, which is my fastest ever run in a half Ironman. And it was good. And I was happy about that. And I crossed the finish line in 4:24:20, which is a performance I'm pretty proud of, right? Based on my training, based on how I executed on the day, that was as good as I could have asked for.
How was it?
That was really good.
Yeah?
It went well. Yeah.
During the run, I moved up from 3rd to 2nd in my age group. I went from 71st to 58th overall as a male, and I went from 83rd to 65th overall. Perfect. 2nd in my age group, which qualified me for the World Championships. So I found that out, and my buddy Calvin, who's done the World Championships before, he's like, you have to go. You have to accept it. It's in Nice, France. Like, that's amazing. And then Shannon's like, oh my gosh, Nice, France? I've always wanted to go to Nice, France. Let's go to Nice, France. And I was like, all right. I've done the World Championships in track and field twice. I've done the World Championships in the half marathon once. And it's always a cool experience. Let's do it. Let's go do the World Championships. Heck yeah. We're going to Nice. And I am so excited to dig in, to lean in, and to become a triathlete. I think I have a lot of low-hanging fruit there. I think, you know, all things being equal, I think I can go under 4:10. I think I have probably 4 to 5 minutes in the swim I can make up. I think I can optimize my bike way more. I can get an aero helmet. I can increase my better positioning overall. I think I can just get fitter on the bike. Like, I was probably 20, 30 watts lower than peak fitness, right? So I think I can bike a lot faster. And also, I'm an ex-pro runner. Like, why am I doing running a 126 half marathon? I should be running under 120 in these things, no problem. Off this one, if I were to run up a straight up half marathon, I probably would have been 116, 117, right? I should get in 68-minute shape. I should get in 67-minute shape. Why can't I, right? I just need to take it seriously. So I think I can get myself in under 410 shape. And I think if I do that, I can put myself into a pretty competitive space at the World Championships for my age group. And that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to swim better. I'm going to optimize my biking. I'm going to get way fitter on the run, and I'm just going to throw down. So that's what this channel is kind of going to be really following, is my progression into a half Ironman and becoming a pure, straight up half Ironman athlete. And I'm excited to do that. So that was Santa Cruz. Calvin was right. Santa Cruz is it. I highly, highly recommend this race for anybody looking for a really fun, really well organized, really great 70.3 event. So yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll chat again soon. Take care.